Hi there, I'm Hugh Stearns with Stearns Design Build. Welcome to our third in a series on common remodeling mistakes and how to avoid them. Today's episode is about one of my favorite topics, which is quality and materials. In our industry, a common equation for quality is price per square foot. And that's a really interesting equation because it's a perfect equation for very low quality. So the way that you get your cost per square foot down is by buying really cheap stuff. And there's this term called builder grade. And so often people think builder grade means, oh, it's so good that a builder would put it in his house. But that's actually not at all what it means. It means that if it's going to last longer than the builder's very short warranty period, they've overspent. So as remodelers, one of the things we do an awful lot of is just get rid of that builder grade stuff that they're remodeling, and now they have all this stuff it's low quality, and so we end up spending a lot of money of their money to get rid of things that if they had been gone in as quality items to begin with, it would have been far better. So even in remodeling, I mean, remodeling is expensive, so there's always motivation to try to save money. But one of the ways to adjust that equation and make it a more intelligent equation is to think about your investment over time. A lot of the things that we buy to put into our house, we intend to last for the lifetime of the house. But so often they're manufactured not to last that long. And then you have maintenance issues as well as replacement issues. So just expanding the length of time that you're thinking about your investment, and don't think of it as an investment within the moment that you're paying for it, but an investment over the time that you'll have it, is a much more intelligent way to think about value in your home. So as already noted, there's been lots of times where we're just replacing things that were cheap and either wore out before one would expect them to, or they didn't function as well. So, and this is both in terms of material and process. So every corner is cut to try to get that price per square foot as low as possible. In materials, we often see this in things that you don't necessarily see, poor mastics and inexperienced things that go into the building that aren't necessarily the selections that you're choosing. So being very mindful of the material quality throughout the build is very important. One of the places that I love to emphasize quality is in windows. So there's a huge range of quality of windows. You know, most of us grew up with aluminum windows in our house, and those windows are very inefficient. And of course, window technology has improved tremendously over the years. When I was young, everything was single paned, and now it's not even legal to put single paned windows into a house. But there's still a big difference in quality. So when we're picking out windows, we're paying a lot of attention to how much air infiltration that window is going to allow, and the R value, or the heat transfer on that window is. But there's also other things that go into the quality of a window, the hardware that's on the window, and the operation of a window. We love windows, for example, that open 100%. So, you know, your typical single hung window raises up and it only is going to open at the most 50%. But if you have a casement window, it opens 100%. And not only does it open 100%, when we work on that design, we know where those prevailing breezes are. We're going to make that thing open so that it works like a wing, bringing those breezes into your house to maximize its efficiency. So windows are a good example of where quality can really make a difference. Another place where you can really see a lot of difference in quality is in flooring. One of the materials that is used very frequently to reduce the cost of building is carpet. And of course, a lot of people love carpet because it's warm on your feet and it feels good, which is great. There's a couple of issues with carpet that we worry about. One is that over time, there's a lot of things that build up under the carpet that are not safe for you. So sometimes people with allergies will be given a prescription to get rid of all the carpet in their house. And whenever we replace all the carpet in somebody's house, almost always they'll contact us later and say how much difference it made for them. So there's a place where quality makes a difference. Now, if you use wool carpet, of course, it's more expensive, but it also has natural allergens in it. So that's an example of maybe you want carpet, so you might think about choosing a wool carpet. But there's a lot of modern flooring now that people use. Very seldom anymore are people putting full 3/4 inch thick oak flooring in, which we love. and they're using laminate flooring. And laminate flooring has a lot of advantages because it's laminated and the grains go in opposite directions. It's much more stable than traditional flooring is. It's also thinner, so it's using less material. But a lot of that laminate material, you can never refinish it because the top layer, the finished layer, is so thin that if you were to try to sand that to refinish it, it would sand right through. So if you're choosing a laminate to use on your floors, we encourage you to choose one, to pay attention and choose one that's got a thicker, eighth or thicker top layer so that it can be refinished in the future. So sometimes durability isn't a matter of spending more money. One of the places we love to save people money is by using hardy plank siding. It's actually less expensive. It has the advantage of holding paint much better than wood. And the other advantage to it, if you can use it, and most of the houses that we work on and a lot of the neighborhoods require a certain level of masonry or brick, stone or brick on the exterior of the house. And it's beautiful, but the fact is we're in a hot, humid climate, and it's a really bad idea in a hot, humid climate because it puts a big thermal drain on your house. So if we can use hardy plank siding, we save money. We have paint jobs that last longer. It looks a little different, a little bit more traditional, and it doesn't put that thermal drain on your house. There are all kinds of places that manufacturers cut corners to create builder-grade material. One place is metal roofs, which are becoming much more popular. We love them for a lot of reasons, but metal roofs are that thickness of that metal is done by gauge. Smaller gauge metal is actually thicker, ironically enough, but a lot of people will sell a metal roof that's a thinner gauge metal, and they just don't last as well the full 50 years that metal roofs are supposed to last. If you spend a little bit more, you're going to get more like 75 years out of a metal roof, and that's real value that goes into the house. Another place that people commonly cut corners and save money is on paint. In almost all building materials, you basically get what you pay for. So one of the first red flags should be if something's quite a bit cheaper than its competitor, chances are they've cut the corners, and paint's a good example of that. Using a really great high quality paint is going to cost you about $100 a gallon, and I'm not quite sure how cheap you can get paint, but it's quite cheap. And what happens is within a few months, that paint looks terrible. It fades, it chalks, and it just doesn't last as well. And an awful lot of the cost of a paint job is in the labor. So you're really not doing yourself any favors by using cheap paint. When thinking about design, one of the things to do is to become creative. Think outside the box if you can. Kitchens are the most frequently remodeled room in the house, and they're also the most expensive room to remodel in the house. But there's a lot of things that are really expensive in a kitchen, so we can begin to think about saving money. One place I love to save money is to create nice big pantries, because pantries are a lot less expensive than cabinetry. And if you can reduce the amount of cabinetry you have and increase the amount of pantry you have, it's kind of a win-win. People love big pantries, and you just don't need as much cabinetry, especially upper cabinets. Upper cabinets are space that's hard to use. They're only a foot deep, hard to reach. If you put open shelving there, it's a lot more cost effective than putting in upper cabinets. And then you can store things on the open shelves if you're a nice, neat, tidy person, or once again, you've got that large pantry. Just so things you would have put a common question people have when they embark on a remodeling project is, how do we make that decision between paying for quality and trying to save some money on the project? And where we start is understanding that everybody's equation for quality is just a little bit different. So get a good sense of how much you're willing to invest for durability and for functionality and aesthetics, and begin to build your own equation for that level of quality that you want. It's a good way to help to determine what contractor you want to use as well. So we're really a great contracting company for people who want a fairly high level of quality. Doesn't mean that we don't manage a budget. We certainly do manage budgets. Almost everybody's top criteria for guiding their project is the budget. So we always have to manage budgets, but we're a good company for people who understand that durability is an equation that they want to work toward. People who are looking to flip a house, we're not a great company for them. They're always going to just put in cheap stuff and try to get that price per square foot as low as possible. So that gives you a good sense of not only how to create the equation for quality, but also how to choose who you're going to work with. So as we think about this and begin to summarize it, we want to, what are the takeaways? The one is make sure you have an equation for quality that you understand well. Make sure that you know what you're prioritizing. Is it durability? Is it aesthetics? Is it functionality? And then if I have one piece of advice to give as you think about this, it's just look at price as an indicator. So often people look at price as, oh, we're just going to get the low price. But basically you get what you pay for. So understand what's going, if something's more expensive, understand what's causing it to be more expensive and make sure it fits your equation for value. We hope you'll come back for episode 4, in which we'll be talking about making that decision between when do you want to hire a professional and what do you want to do yourself and how to hire a professional. So we look forward to providing that information for you. This is Macy. She's one of our 4 cats. She's 9 years old and has a sister. They both came out of a Dallas shelter. And she's the most gregarious and sweetest cat we have, but she sometimes is also the most ornery.